ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I am checking out a film that, this actually is a film that I've been sort of curious about checking out for almost a decade. Because the film came out in 2002, and I first saw it at a local video, video store, and I was always curious about renting it, and I never did. Tonight's film is from a studio called Brain Damage Films, and the only other thing that I know that the studio put out is the Traces of Death series. Note that I said Traces and not Faces. Faces of Death was actually good. Traces of Death was boring as hell. So this company is really not starting off good with me, but I'm still gonna give this film a shot. Tonight's movie is called Terror Toons. Yep, Terror Toons. I don't know what the hell else to say about it. The only thing I can tell you, and this is just based off of the VHS box I saw when I was younger, is that it doesn't have any actual terror tunes in it, because on the cover you see puppets. And to me, there's a world of difference between cartoons and puppets, but that honestly is probably splitting hairs here, and I should at least let this thing try. So I'm going to start watching this, and may God have mercy on me, because I don't know if it's going to be any good. So without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Terror Toons. Okay. That was quite possibly one of the strangest openings I've ever seen to a film. I have no clue what the fuck I just saw, and I don't think that any of it is going to make any sense over the course of the next hour and, 15 minutes or so. Okay, this actually is not this really is not a fucking important question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Why the hell do they have about 7 clocks on that fucking wall? It just seems sort of odd to me, I guess. They're pulling out a Ouija board. I should mention, guys, that there still is no real semblance of a plot here. Just a bunch of people hanging out, and they're gonna bust out a Ouija board. And at the same time, there's somebody watching a Terror Toons DVD. That's it, so far. There's nothing going on. Okay, that actually was a little bit nasty. I never thought I would live to see the day when I watched a film where somebody got their spine surgically ripped out. Well, now I kind of wish that I hadn't seen it, because that was a little bit nauseating. Okay, and we have a scalping, officially. That was actually kind of nasty looking. Oh, and now he's getting the top of his skull sawed off. And again, looks kind of sick. Wait a minute, so now we're in hell? Why are we in hell? Okay, now watching this, I actually feel like I'm in hell, but now the film's actually set in hell. And Satan sounds like kind of a pansy, just thought I'd say. Oh, thank you, God. Thank you. This awful fucking movie's over. No, I don't care who fucking made it. I just don't. No. Now. Oh, mother of God. Allow me to just say, a lot of people like to say that the worst film ever made, at least from the terms of just overall quality, is Plan 9. Plan 9 from Outer Space. In fact, Plan 9 has got a major cult following because it is so bad. Because it has such awful writing, it has such laughable effects, it has such paper-thin characters, and, paper-thin props, too, when you really watch it closely. This film is the modern day Plan 9. I don't care if it's from fucking 2002. This is about as close as we are going to get to a Plan 9 film made this century. Because, okay, first of all, the acting. Oh, dear, sweet, heavenly God. Now, I'm going to say this. Out of the entire cast, there's only one person amongst them that I've actually heard of. The only reason why I've heard of her is because she's a porn actress, and she was involved with the worst professional wrestling organization of all time, XPW. That person was Lizzie Borden. Yeah, she is in this, and she cannot act to save her soul. But I knew that when I watched her attempt to cut promos in XPW. So that honestly wasn't anything stunning. I actually was looking at a whole lot of the cast in this film. A lot of them, this is their only film. I'm going to assume that the others who actually have cinematic experience, and I'm talking experience that is big enough to warrant being mentioned on the IMDb, I'm going to assume most of them, everything else is porn. Just taking a wild shot based on the acting. Now, the writing. The writing actually could have been good. This thing could actually have been a really promising film if perhaps maybe they gave the story to somebody who knew how to write a decent script. Because this whole thing was based on some guy's concept, and it then went to a couple of chattering chimps who decided to, shit out this script. I think maybe if they were to give it to somebody who actually knew how to write, it would probably have been better. Maybe somebody who knows about pacing and knows that you cannot have scenes go from the house to hell to back to the house, but now it's a factory in the house. No. You can't do that. You have to actually set up and explain why the fuck we're here. And by the way, speaking of hell, that entire sequence could probably have been trimmed down to about a minute, because most of it is just Satan talking, and he gives a speech that is so drawn out and so unnecessary that there are probably actors who have played Bond villains who would watch this and tell him to speed it the fuck up a little. So, yeah, effects. I want to talk about the effects. First of all, there is a lot of use of chroma key. A lot of people refer to chroma key as green screen. Well, here they aren't using a green screen. It's very obvious that they're using a blue screen because everything has a very thick blue outline on it. By the way, for anyone who has been following me for years and you watched my old rants when I used to use a green screen, and you notice that it kind of sucked at times, my use of a green screen looks like Oscar-worthy material compared to how they used it here. I cannot explain it any better. It has to have been some of the worst chroma key effect I've ever seen. And the props used in the film all happen to look like they're either made out of plastic or foam. I haven't really decided which yet. And it doesn't feel realistic. And also the props, which are supposed to be from the Terror Toons, which are supposed to look like big cartoon props, a couple of them look pretty good, such as, well, the really giant axe looked really, really solid, as well as the dynamite stick looked pretty good. And then there are props like the giant saw and the fucking cartoon gun that just look like shit. Beyond that, I'm just trying to think if there were any other effects that were worth noting. Makeup effects, though, were actually pretty decent. Now, I should mention, at the start of this video, I said that when I looked at the VHS box for this thing way back when, I had assumed that this film utilized puppets. It doesn't. The two characters you see on the DVD cover or the VHS cover are not puppets. Those are people in costumes, and those are their masks. And those masks do not move. And any time that one of them has to open their mouth, it's a really bad digital effect where they basically just cut off the bottom half of the face and they sort of like dropped it down, similar to a ventriloquist dummy, only not nearly as believable. So yeah, I really cannot say anything positive about this movie yet. I'm going to recommend that you guys go and try to find a copy of it for one big reason, and this is the big reason. Now this film, according to the IMDb, had a budget of $2,300. $2,300. This film does not look like a $2,300 budgeted film. It looks like maybe a $4,000 or $5,000 budget film. So these filmmakers were able to, on a much smaller scale, do with $2,300. Then I mean they basically were able to make $2,300 look like a huge budget, similar to how District 9 was able to make a $20 million budget look like a $150 million budget. It really is a little bit staggering. Not only would I recommend you guys go and check this out, just actually to see how a $2,300 film can look, because this film looks great for a $2,300 film, but also for people who love Plan 9 because it's so bad, this thing will sit perfectly with it. I'm going to tell you right now, this is not a good film, and this film barely qualifies for so bad it's good. But this film has to be seen to be believed, because I am going to assume that some of you guys are watching me and you're wondering, and you're probably saying to yourself, the acting can't possibly be that bad, and that the fucking blue screen effects can't be that bad. I'm telling you, the only way you are going to truly believe me is if you watch this. So really, I basically am saying that because I had to suffer, a lot of you are going to have to as well, just to get the full impact of this movie. I really have nothing else to say. This film was a fucking chore to watch. And the sickest part, the part that just makes me want to curl up in the corner and cry, is that they made sequels. Before anyone asks, and before I start getting comments saying, you have to do the sequels, I don't know. If I ever find a BitTorrent of Terror Toons 2, I might check it out. However, I have much better things to do fucking reaction and review on, so even if I find a copy, it's gonna be a long goddamn while before I just sit down and go, okay, I want to suffer more. So the odds of seeing a Terror Toons 2 reaction and review, I believe there's also a Terror Toons 3, are very, very slim. I just wanted to get that out there. So guys, that is it for this installment of Reaction and Review. And wow, I had two straight episodes of great movies, and then this thing comes and shits in my cereal. It just, goddamn it. So guys, until next time, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.